Are you guys playing Minecraft? What are you, 12? Next, we should try it with people. You ever play Minecraft and wonder how or why a mob do what it do? The first thing that you have to understand about trying to apply science to Minecraft mobs is that the world has a lot of magic. Therefore, some of the entities will have properties not explainable under the current conditions known to science. Think of the way Minecraft mobs are classified like a Venn diagram. On this side is biology, and on this side is magic. And in the middle are the beings that have traits from both. The first mob on this list is the OG face of the entire game, the Creeper. Now, if you're familiar with Minecraft and/or have ever been to a GameStop, you've probably seen this shirt on a few chubby 5th graders. While this is a clever idea for a shirt, I don't think that's how it would actually work. There are a lot of theories about what makes these things tick, but I'm gonna say one that I haven't heard mentioned yet. I believe this creature explodes using a combination of 2 or more substances stored in separate glands or bladders. My theory is that when a creeper wants to explode, it fills a cavity inside of its chest with an internally produced flammable gas, and then lets other reactive ingredients into the chamber as well. The other 2 react and spur a small exothermic reaction which causes a spark, causing a large explosion, destroying the phallic creature and also the house of a screaming child. The sound it makes is the same sound as the TNT detonation, which leads me to believe that it is not in fact hissing, but instead the sound of the chemical reaction escaping through its face holes. One very common naturally occurring flammable gas is methane, which is also contained in many animals' farts. If the environment in Minecraft is similar to our own, it's likely that the same things would be common, meaning the flammable gas that the creeper would produce would likely be methane. This means not only would you be lying in the shredded wreckage of what was once your home, but it would also smell like a construction site porta potty, allowing the green phallic creature to get one more laugh from beyond the grave. Next up is the Gast. The Gast is basically a giant balloon animal that shoots fireballs out of its mouth while making a sound like an infant that's been drop-kicked into the distance. I think that the Gast most likely stays afloat like a balloon using a lighter-than-air gaseous material such as hydrogen or methane. In order to shoot fireballs, this gas would need to be flammable. The natural gas could either be naturally occurring in the nether, seeing as how this place looks like it'd be full of flammable gases, or it could be produced internally within the Gast. The Gast could change its elevation either by producing or capturing more of this gas to go higher, or expelling it to go lower. Again, this would probably make the Gast smell terrible. In order to make the fireballs, the Gast would most likely expel a gooey ball with a hard calcified outer shell, coated and filled with a flammable material. It would ignite it using some sort of chemical reaction. This is just a theory, and it might not be the case because it's very possible that the Gast would just ignite itself while trying to shoot a fireball. But to avoid this, they could potentially just isolate the 2 gases from each other in 2 different gas bladders. Next up is the mushroom, also known as the Coachella cow. The Coachella cow only spawns in mushroom field biomes. It has mushrooms growing out of its back, and it produces mushroom soup instead of milk. While at first glance they have some noticeable differences, this is actually the same exact creature as the regular cow, except one thing. This cow has either a parasitic or symbiotic relationship with the fungus growing on it, and in it. Because it's living in a mushroom biome and only eating mushrooms and mycelium, the cow has undergone drastic physical changes. This condition can be gotten rid of with shears, meaning one way to cure this is just to cut off all the visible fungus. I bet you wish you could get rid of your severe fungal infection that easily. By the way, I'm sorry for telling everyone. This cow has more mycelium in its body than that idiot that injected mushrooms. What horrific unintended consequences are happening in the cow's organ system? Don't know. Who cares? Next mob. Next up is the Slenderman. Enderman. This one is going to be based off of the game theory argument. If you don't know what that is, let me sum it up really quick for you. Endermans are human that went to the end and got trapped there because they were unable to defeat the Ender Dragon to summon the escape portal. They either went into hiding or found a way to coexist with the dragon and eventually evolved into Enderman, gaining the capability of teleportation from the environment and a diet of chorus fruits native to the end, but losing many of the aspects that made them human. This explains why they're the only other beings in the game capable of moving blocks around, and also why their idle noises resemble distorted human speech. Got it? Good. Why does this matter? Well, it means that the source of the Enderman was originally a human. The thing about the Enderman that I think the evolved human theory explains is why they attack you when you look at them. Endermen are actually neutral towards you unless you start staring at them. which causes them to try to change your insides into outsides. The thing that makes this even stranger is they don't attack you when you have something obscuring your face, such as if you're wearing a pumpkin on your head. It seems that the Endermen respond violently to observation by the human face. While I could theorize endlessly on why this may be the case, I think I've narrowed it down to one theory that makes sense to me. Sometimes in evolution, a bit of behavior wired in the brain from a long time ago remains to the modern day. An example of this in the human brain is primordial fear, responsible for phobias like arachnophobia and fear of the dark. How does this relate to Endermen? Well, since Endermen were once humans, the Enderman has the roots of a human brain in its head. Humans have a primordial fear of the uncanny, or things that are almost completely human, but off in an unsettling way that you just can't place. It's the reason why things that are almost human, but not really, give you that creepy feeling. When the Enderman glances into the eyes of a regular human, it sees something that spikes primordial fear of the uncanny, the same way your brain would react if you saw a live Enderman, something that resembles a normal member of your species, but corrupted. This would spur a fight or flight response in humans, and it seems that the Enderman tends to pick fight in response to this fear. Either that, or they know they're naked and can't do anything about it, so they end you so you stop staring at their enderdong. Next up is something more vanilla and less convoluted, the zombie. The zombie is the same general body plan as the player, implying that they were once the same being. The zombie is a human infected with a virus that plagues the overworld. When defeated, the zombie drops rotting flesh, which the game allows you to eat. So, by the way, Alex and Steve are canonically cannibals, and there's nothing that you can do about it. If one looks at a zombie, you'll notice that a zombie never lowers their arms. This could be because of rigor mortis, a process that stiffens the muscles and tendons after death, making it much harder to move them. It seems that the zombie has had its arms extended while chasing prey for a long enough time that rigor mortis hardened them in that position, leaving the mob unable to lower their arms any lower than shoulder height. Have you ever tried to hold your arms up for more than 2 minutes? It gets pretty painful. Now I know why those zombies are always moaning like they're in constant pain. It's because they are.
I call my dick rigor mortis. It's always hard. It's also not capable of feeling sensation.
Fun fact, did you know that some pig organs can be implanted in people to replace human organs? The zombified piglin's anatomy is pretty straightforward. It's a zombie pig man. I remember the old version of Minecraft, where there was no such thing as piglins, and there were only zombie pigmen. Zombie pigmen used to spawn naturally one of two ways. Either they're just wandering about in the nether, or they'd come from a pig that got struck by lightning. After Minecraft retconned the zombie pigmen, they changed that mechanic, and I'm bringing it up because I'm salty about it. The piglins have social structures, and are capable of using tools both in their alive and zombified forms. What's interesting is that regular piglins attack on sight, whereas zombified piglins only attack if you attack one of them. This may be because territorial behavior is associated with a part of the piglin brain that is damaged during zombification. This mob also drops rotten flesh, no different than a regular zombie, proving once and for all that not only are Alex and Steve cannibals, but also they literally perceive no difference between people and cattle when it comes to the meat. Next up is the slime, aka cave erectoplasm, is a giant blob of, well, slime. This creature is mostly found in cave systems, and they're all over the place when you forget to turn on peaceful when building on superflat. When you kill a slime, it splits into 2 to 4 smaller slimes, and this happens until the slimes are really small and they probably don't have enough material to split into more slimes, so they just die. This creature most likely uses a process similar to mitosis as a defense mechanism. Mitosis is when one cell divides into 2 cells. Something similar happens for slimes when it comes under extreme stress. For example, when losing in combat, it will attempt this as a divide then overwhelm strategy. This is why slimes are much more dangerous in close quarters combat where retreat is harder, or altogether impossible, such as narrow cave systems. Now you're probably wondering, how do I know if I am a Minecraft slime? If the thought of a cube man slowly chopping you to bits with a blocky sword gets you in the mood to make babies, you might be. Next up is the Iron Golem. This is likely a creature that functions entirely in the magic spectrum of Minecraft. I make this claim because this creature is created from pumpkin and iron, that when assembled by the player in this shape becomes a dim-witted version of Colossus from Marvel. Also, the Golem does not have biological needs or limitations. For example, the Golem does not need to breathe. When put in water, it will sink to the bottom and walk around on the ocean floor. The golem will protect its creator from aggressive mobs until its death, whether its creator be a player or a villager. While there is little actual biology to report upon for this creature, it doesn't need a biological heart, because it's got a spiritual one. When encountering a baby villager, it often presents it with the flower. While this might suggest that it has a soul, one look into its cold dead eyes while it bashes an illager into a chunky red paste, and that notion will dissolve. This is still a far cry from the most dangerous creature you can build. The Wither is a three-headed flying Hydra-esque monstrosity. The Wither is summoned when a player builds a macabre three-headed scarecrow out of skeletal remains from the Nether and sand containing the literal souls of the suffering. When the Wither is created, it acts like a black hole, destroying every block it comes close to, and decimating any friendly mob that it comes close to. It also shoots skulls out of its face at you. I don't need to say that the Wither is purely a magical entity in Minecraft, because it's entirely obvious. If you're expecting me to point out the fly around and shoot magical skulls organ, I don't know what to tell you. One last thing, I would be remiss if I went through this whole video without mentioning that the Minecraft chicken is literally a cock block. If you are a fan of my work and you want to help it grow, the best way would be sharing this video with someone who likes Minecraft. Liking, commenting, and subscribing to please the mysterious AI eldritch god that holds our cult's future in its monstrous hand like a fragile, undeveloped baby bird. I was resistant to making a video about Minecraft because I wasn't sure if I wanted to be made fun of my entire life. But now that I'm putting YouTube content on the internet, I know that's impossible, so I might as well lean into it. Big thank you to @DarkCharcoal on Twitter for drawing the Enderman, the Iron Golem, and the Zombie Piglin. I love his art style and you should go check him out. Also, a good bit of what I'm basing my theories off of is MatPat's Minecraft lore and science theory videos. Many of the ideas that I came up with wouldn't have been possible without his exceptional unraveling of the lore and science behind the game. I highly recommend it, even though it contradicts my creeper theory, but I don't care because that other thing is biologically sound too, and I gotta make a fart joke, so it's worth it. I hope you all like this video, because I love video games and I can't believe I haven't made a video about one up until now. As always, like, summon at the bell, and I will see you all in hell. Bye.
Now the main problem area is up here. All of this going on up here is what's causing me the most physical discomfort. It's like a visceral reaction of discontent coming from this area. This area is not good either. I hate this, but I'm mainly worried about this. I've never been to one of these clubs before.